If you're a media buyer, creative strategist, or a brand owner and you haven't tried Foreplay, you're missing out. And no, we're not talking about that kind of Foreplay. Foreplay lets you save Facebook ads and TikTok ads in a super easy to use board forever. So if you've ever sent a client or a team member or just a mate an ad link from the ad library and you click the link and it disappeared, then this is for you. So a few reasons why I actually use this myself and love it. First reason is discovery. The discovery tool is actually genuinely better than the Facebook ads library and the TikTok ad library native platforms. You can search by keywords or even search by brand or industries. And when you save those ads, you can actually download MP4 files of them. So for example, if you're creating a lot of presentations and examples in your day-to-day work, then this makes that a shitload easier. And as well as that, you can actually save all the ads into super easy to use and navigate boards, so you can organize things however you like. For example, myself, I organize brand ideas I've got, so things I'm seeing from other brands. If you ran an agency, for example, you could do ideas for clients, you could send things to clients, you could have ideas with your team, however you like. Super easy to use and super intuitive. So if you're curious about how you can use Foreplay and start getting it into your day-to-day life and business, like you should be, because I genuinely have been using it for the past 6 months, and it's one of maybe 2 or 3 tools that me and the team actually rely on to scale Space Goods to the moon and every brand that you're working on, then you should click the link in the bio to sign up to a trial. And you can sign up to a 1-week free trial, and if you love it, which I think you will, because I do, and loads of my mates and colleagues and team members use it as well, then you can sign up for 15% off the first 3 months with the code MIDNIGHT. Cheers. Right, we're back with episode 71 of the Midnight Pod, the first ep in the new setup on the fucking table with Mr. Nick Denby, co-hosted with Tyler New, which I think is your 4th episode on the Midnight Pod.
Maybe, yeah.
Something like that. And you're the first fitness/CrossFit, obviously Sleben, founder, if maybe not founder.
Yeah, co-founder.
Just hold it.
So I'm co-founder of Sleben. Tim and I, we started the, well, I'll take you back to kind of, how far back do you want me to go?
Yeah, I guess
70.
Back, all the way back.
All the way back, yeah.
To like 18 or some shit. How old are you now? 38?
I'm 38. Yeah, so, well, I'll take you back to my story first, and then we'll talk about Sleben.
Is it worth me and Matt explaining why there's a random CrossFit gym owner?
Yeah, probably.
In the apartment, and how this has come about.
When did you start going CrossFit?
When I got sick of training at Gymbox in Victoria, and my friend Jordan was staying at mine, and there was this gym behind my building where I'd walk past it occasionally, just see all these machines coming out looking like they'd been hit by trains, just put through the most treacherous workouts. Yeah. And I was like, let's go see what they're all about. And then I met Nick, and at first I've always been like this whole in like bodybuilding, CrossFit, nah, that's silly. But then ended up signing up, and now I'm 5-6 times a week training CrossFit, and that's how we met Nick. And then obviously you joined as well. And
I finished my 6-month obsessive marathon training regime and then got gold medal syndrome. I was like, fuck running in Gymbox by myself for another 6 months just to do another marathon. So I sacked the next marathon off and went down to CrossFit, having never fucking lifted a barbell in my life. I still don't like the barbell shit, to be fair. I'm a cardio and calisthenics guy.
I like the barbell shit. I was
into it.
Yeah, I was so like, first however many sessions I did, shit hurt. Like I was not fit by any means. And then get into it. And I think the thing I like about it as well is you're learning a new skill. You know, it is quite technical, but what you guys have built, the facility, the coaches, I think it's wicked. So yeah.
But yeah, so I'm Nick Denby. I'm 38. I think I'm much older than you two. You're what, 20?
26.
26? 27. Yeah, so a bit older than you guys. But I'm just going to start with my story from the start.
Yeah, go.
So I was born and raised in Spain. So I lived in Spain till I was 18. My mother's British, my dad's American. So I went to like a American school there. Went to university in the States, did politics, international relations, then started working in finance.
Whereabouts in the States?
Virginia, Washington, D.C. So
okay.
My dad's from Virginia. So I went to GW in D.C. Big international relations, like obviously hub, being the capital and everything. That's what I really enjoyed when I was a kid, as well as like history, politics, all that sort of thing. But then I was like, well, do I want to work in D.C. for some non-profit, or I don't know. It wasn't super political at the time, and I think I got a lot more political as I got older. But I was too young, I think, for any of that. And then came to the UK. I was doing an internship in the States and like at UBS and some wealth management firm. So then I got some sort of gig somehow at JP Morgan here in Canary Wharf while I was in Alderman Green in the city. basically sold my soul there for 8 years. I was working middle office, like trade support and equity derivatives.
Were you like 21 when you started? Just later on?
Yeah, about 21, 22. Like just silly hours, just working like a corporate slave, really. Which I don't think either of you have any other experience doing. But if maybe we can
All that experience doing long hours and selling my soul.
Yeah.
Not in the corporate environment.
I did a placement in the city when I was like 19 and decided then and there that Wolf of Wall Street was fake. And actually I'll be on 50 grand a year, which after tax is 30, working for 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I might be a millionaire by 50.
Yeah.
At which point my wife has left me and I've had 3 divorces. So I saw that side pretty early and decided, right, I'm going balls to the wall with entrepreneurship, which I'll still try to figure out. But is that a fair description?
That's literally that was my view of it. I just saw these guys that were just like, and I actually had a chat with one of the managers at the time, and I said, well, when I decided to quit it, and I said, look, I'm going to do this CrossFit thing. And I'll explain my CrossFit story in a sec, but I was like, I really want to do this thing. I didn't tell him to his face, but I don't want your life. Is basically, he's got a mortgage, and he basically said to me, do it now. Like, I don't have kids. I was like 20, 29. So I was like, it was kind of a perfect age where I had some sort of experience in the real world. I wasn't just like fresh out of college. And I was like, yeah, I gotta go do it. And here we are about 6-7 years later. And like you say, I know what you mean, like with the long hours and selling your soul, but at least it's for something for sure. I'm trying to build, which is pretty cool. And then kind of on the CrossFit side of it, I started that in 08, 09 in the very first CrossFit gym in the UK. It's called CrossFit London. It's set out in Bethnal Green. And back then it was a completely different landscape. And there was no like Rogue Fitness black box, like all these brands like Reebok and Nike weren't involved at all. We were doing pull-ups on a scaffold rig. It was like, you still had like cement and shit on it and crap. And, it was completely like grassroots kind of like fitness. And it was like, just kind of like your experience now was my very first one, where it was like, I played football when I was a kid, like always like team sport environment. And then suddenly you go to university or you go to, the real world. And it's like, oh, suddenly you're just doing bicep curls in a gym. And you're like, the hell is this? Like, where's the fun in like sport anymore? And, especially with the working world, how do you do team sports anymore and that sort of thing? And then CrossFit came and I was like, man, this is cool. And it like, not just I think the methodology of it, which I think is amazing, but then also just the community and the culture that builds up around it. I think that's kind of the two things that really kind of engage everybody.
Was that literally the first one in the UK?
Yeah, it was.
Because I first became aware of CrossFit maybe in like 2015, watching Matt Fraser and Rich Froning.
Yeah.
Thinking, fuck, these guys are fitter than I was. I was rowing back then. I did like 8 years of elite junior rowing. But then figured there's no money or pleasure in that when you're an adult, so sacked it off. But then went through the phase, just being a gym bro at uni when I was like 19 and 20. I was like, this is fucking boring.
It's boring.
Then that's what I did for years until recently.
What, rowing or just?
Well, rowing and then just being a gym bro. Yeah. And I got fat with my ex-girlfriend because whatever, like in COVID, put on like 2 stone looking back. And then a year ago, got into shape again because of running primarily. And then I don't know, it just like fitness slipped my priority list.
Yeah.
In like mid-20s.
Yeah.
Which is a bad time.
Well, it just kind of happens to us all, right? Like things get in the way, things happen. Like you lose the love of it. You could be like deep into a program and then you get a bit of an injury or something. Like, fuck this, and then you're like, then you just get out of the habit. And then, but I think, the three of us, I don't know you guys that well, but obviously you get back into it. You don't just let yourself go forever and that's it. But like, I think like we've all got kind of that little thing in us where we're like, oh, this is cool. Or like the CrossFit thing where, okay, I'm not going to do this for a couple of months, but I'm going to get back into it. I need to get back into it because that is good.
You used to do Ironmans?
I did an Ironman.
A Ironman.
Yeah. Wow. When I was 19. Yeah. But I hated cardio.
Cardio is
boring. And like that was just like the actual Ironman itself was fine. It was the 9 months of training for 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah.
No social life. Sat on a bike saddle for 7 hours on a Sunday. wasn't fun. But yeah, CrossFit is fun. But Nick, what was the thing that got you into that gym in Bethnal Green? Was it like a friend dragged you there? Was it like
my brother in the States? So my brother was doing workouts off CrossFit.com, and he had a couple of mates in university, and so my brother's also in the States, and he just told me, and I was basically in your situation, had been working in finance for a year, just kind of let things slip a little bit. He came home at Christmas, said, "What the fuck? You're fat. Do something."
Well, skinny fat.
Yes. And he just said, "Go, just literally, like, just Google this and go to this gym." And I mean, I knew nothing about the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It was a real shithole. Let's put it that way. I mean, it was our shithole. It was it was a great little community and everything, but
Bethnal Green or the gym?
everything about it. Everything about it was like rough, but it was the methodology and the culture that you kind of fell in love with. It wasn't the facilities or anything like that. And you came in and instantly, you made friends, and suddenly, I've had relationships, like some of my best friends now. My whole life is revolved, like whole relationships. I mean, this podcast here is coming out of CrossFit in a weird way, so it's like, it just, it brings so many different people together and so many different walks of life, but then, like, we all have a similar mindset, and it's interesting that, like, all the people at the gym, you just get along with them because it's like they gravitate to a certain kind of
they're not a lazy cunt like most people.
Or, like, I think in a certain way we're all lazy, but then sometimes we just need to kick up the ass to get us moving. And then if I know that my mates are there and it's going to be a good time, and then I'm just put myself through a tough workout, then fine. It's like, makes it much easier than sitting on a bike for 3 hours on a Sunday night by yourself. I mean, that honestly sounds miserable.
It was miserable. It was miserable.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah. But it's kind of like what we were saying before, is something about discipline. It's, there's something about that where it's like, or that delayed gratification that,
Yeah, for sure.
I always
put yourself through it.
I would have been a little bitch for the rest of my life if I didn't do rowing, because when I was 12 years old, I was on a fucking river in -3 being shouted at by a 6'6" man who I still credit as being like the fucking godfather of my work ethic.
Yeah.
Which translated into other things later on.
But you probably look back on that, you were probably miserable at the time, but somehow you look back on that quite fondly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like, I think back some of the worst times, like in the middle of a workout, but then it's like, it's something memorable in your life. And it's just like, I mean, imagine if every day when you wake up, the hardest thing you do is the workout, and then everything else is easier after that. I'm just like, I'm just going to send some emails.
That's deep. Yeah. Anyway, so
I work out in the morning, but
So 2008, you're training at Bethnal Green, first CrossFit gym.
Yeah. So we were there, and I met Tim maybe 2010, 2012. I can't remember when he started. He started coaching a lot earlier than I did. I probably started coaching in 2015, 2016, around there. So that's when I pretty much quit my job as well. I decided I'm going to go full in on this, start coaching, get some hours, and then figure out a way to start a gym in London.
Wait, so did it take you 9 years in the city to realise you didn't want to do that? Or was it just...
It took me 5 years, but I didn't. But yeah, you just get stuck. You get stuck in that.
Yeah. And then there comes a day where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you just push it up
in the end of staying the same.
I was living week to week, and I was just like, can't wait for the weekend, can't wait till the holidays.
Yeah.
This is not a way to live.
And you escaped the Matrix.
Escape the Matrix.
Started watching Andrew Tate videos in 2012.
But, like, and we'll probably, talk about it later, but, like, there's been some really hard moments, obviously, after that, but
for sure,
very different. I mean, not hard moments. I didn't really have hard moments at JP Morgan, because it was like, well, you have a cushy corporate job, like, you're going to get your salary. You just have to show up, it's, once you're kind of in the machine, you're just doing the daily grind, and, you didn't have to think too much about it towards the end. And obviously there's a steep learning curve at the start, but once you learn it, it's fine. So 2016, quit my job, start coaching, don't know what's going to happen. And then CrossFit London owned CrossFit SE11, which is the gym that we ended up.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you this. Do you know why it's called Slevin?
I just thought it was a fucking tongue-twisting brand name.
Yeah, Jules told me this week.
Yeah. So you see it there. So SE11, Slevin.
Oh, no way.
But why Slevin rather than...
So basically the people that used to go...
Oh, SE11, right, okay.
People that used to go to SE11 just called it Slevin.
Mm-hmm.
It just rolled off the tongue easier. So, and then when Tim and I, so that's why it's called that. But then it was called CrossFit SE11, and then the owners of CrossFit London were losing money from the business. They weren't really putting much love into it. They were mainly focused on the CrossFit London site, and this was kind of like the ugly...
But you were coaching at this one, right?
I was coaching mostly at the other one.
Okay.
And then a couple of sessions.
Full-time coach?
I was a full-time coach there, and then just a couple of sessions here at SE11.
And did you suddenly quit your job in finance and go straight into that, or did you start like part-time coaching?
Yeah, part-time coaching, and just gradually kind of got involved through that. And then they said, do you want to come and manage CrossFit SE11? I said, absolutely not. If anything, I'll take it off your hands, and I don't want anyone to tell me what to do, kind of with the business side of it. And then about a year later, they came back and said, "Yeah, do you want to get in on this?" So I then approached Tim. So Tim's got a venture capitalist kind of background. So he used to work in a lot on the legal side as well. So really good business partner to have.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously super experienced.
Is he in the gym?
Yeah, he's in the gym.
I didn't know there was a second person.
Yeah, Tim. So
is he the older guy?
The older guy. And
Right,
and Tim's just come back from cancer. It's just probably why.
Right.
So we'll talk about that in a bit. So
what's Tim's background exactly in the VC world?
Just raising money, like angel investors and stuff like that. So
like running a fund, or?
No, I think he was working at not Procter & Gamble is another one. Not Procter & Gamble, what's it called? Ernst & Young.
Oh, yeah. Big Four.
Yeah.
Okay. So you basically approached CrossFit London to acquire.
Yeah. They said, make us an offer, basically.
Is that like a franchise CrossFit box? CrossFit London. Is that an official one?
Yeah.
Is that how
we are?
Is that what you have to do?
We're also it's called an affiliate.
Can you just be fucking gym number one and you do CrossFit, but you're not affiliated?
Yeah.
What's the difference though? Like, why would people pay?
The CrossFit brand.
So it's funny to realize that CrossFit is a brand. It's not like a style of training. It's like
it's a brand. It's a methodology as well. So if you like implement the CrossFit methodology, you talk about giving CrossFit.
It's a bit like a cult, isn't it?
Yeah. Massively.
It has all the bells and whistles of a cult.
Massively, yeah. It's definitely it's definitely a cult.
It's like Scientology.
Yeah, and I mean it's interesting. I mean we're kind of. I mean, let me finish the story with Tim.
Sure.
We'll talk about the CrossFit bit because that's really important as well. So CrossFit SC11, then we ended up putting in an offer and we bought CrossFit SC11, and it was a completely shitty white arch that you would have never even recognized from the old gym, even let alone the new gym. So we went in there, put in some money, changed the rig, changed the format, and actually the first thing, and something I know you're really interested in, is we sought a brand. We're like, okay, let's create ourselves a little brand here. What do we call it? Obviously, it was just so easy. Slevin rolls off the tongue. It's catchy. And we were Slevin CrossFit when we started out, actually. So called it Slevin CrossFit. First year went great, and then COVID hit.
Oh shit! So this was when 2019.
November 2018.
Okay.
And then we bought it November 1st, and then obviously March. What was it? 2020 was COVID. So it was a little over a year. And by that point, we had done a massive refurb while we were running classes. It was a huge effort. So we're like trying to gain members, but while also having a like construction site going on in there. Mm-hmm. Just getting things kind of in order, setting up systems, like basically starting from scratch. We hired Loz as our first full-time coach at the same time, which, well, actually that didn't happen until March 2020. So it was just mostly me and Tim with Loz kind of helping out and a couple of the other coaches, but worked our nuts off, kind of got into a good spot and then obviously COVID hit, which was fun and games.
So you literally acquired a business.
Yeah.
This is where I am assuming you spent a lot of money refurbing it, changing it, bringing in a team.
Yeah.
And then
wham.
COVID hits.
Is that in the original arch?
That was the original arch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you train there?
For like a month, 2 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Shit.
it was shit, but you're right. It's a cult, and you know what? Like, basically, like more than any other business, I think like CrossFit is like the members really helped us out. So they were like, a lot of members kept paying their dues, or we just did payment plans. Obviously, we put on lots of online stuff, lots of classes, and what we ended up doing was just kind of working our nuts off in different ways. So like a lot more online, just providing classes. And you know what? At the end of the day, you know, like for online classes, like why would you do a Zoom class at a CrossFit gym and pay whatever bucks if you could do Peloton or Apple or Fit or all these other kind of like brands that have kind of like come out of that? But people just wanted to see each other on Zoom because we're all in, you know, we're all mates and we're just all dotted around London. And in the end, these workouts became more of like a social thing. So I know before the classes, it'd be like 15, 20 people just having a chat and be like, oh, how you doing? And what's going on? And that sort of thing. And so like from that respect, it was a really nice thing. Like, I guess it kind of showed what the whole kind of that, aside from the fitness methodology, what CrossFit is as a community like organizer. If that makes sense.
What was the, I mean, as much as you're comfortable sharing, what was the kind of structure of the acquisition? I mean, if they were a business that was losing money, were they happy to pretty much let it go for nothing? Or
I guess you basically just buying, what were you buying?
We
Just the assets.
We just bought some of the assets in the gym, and then some of the members, but there was not many members, and we kind of pushed them down as low as we could. So
sure,
it wasn't, it's like you're saying, it was a losing business, but we were just like, well, it's much easier for us now because the landlord like to take on a lease and all that sort of thing, and there were members there that were super excited for us to take over and like install this new energy into the business, and a lot of people that had left previously came back. So that was kind of really, really cool thing which happened, because I know it's a weird thing. So like, and it's interesting to see your guys' insight about this, is CrossFit business is fundamentally a very personal business. So like, I think as a CrossFit owner, like a CrossFit gym owner, I need to be there. I need to know all the members, who they are, what's going on, because I think that's really important, because I think that's like the real, like the nook and cranny of the business. But so many of these CrossFit gyms around London and the UK are just run by just people that aren't there, and they just leave somebody to run it. And I just see them fail over and over and over again. I'm just like, why do you, like, there's so many better ways to make money than running a CrossFit gym. It's not that profitable. You put a lot of work into it. But like, the reason why I went into it was like a lifestyle. I was like, well, I don't want to be a corporate slave. I want to be the master of my future. But also, like, I mean, I came away today and we had just, I did a whole bunch of 2-3 hours of work, did some training with a couple of coaches, and then we were just hanging out outside. It was just so nice and fun. And it was just like, this is so cool. Like this is part of my job. And like, I think that's what you're buying that business for, and not for, I don't know, millions of pounds, because good luck on that.
I still think you could scale the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's literally what I'm working on at the moment. So
I can vouch for the fact that it made a difference for me when I first came in just to find out more, and I spoke with you and we had a good conversation, and then I think it must have been like 4 weeks later they actually joined.
Yeah.
But coming in, I mean, I'm very comfortable in new environments. I would say I'm shy or anything, but coming in and you like saying, hey Tyler, obviously remembering my name, reaching out, making an effort, does 100% make a difference.
Yeah.
And I felt very welcomed by the team and the coaches, and I think it's
the most important thing.
There's a lot to be said for that, for sure.
Because people are terrified when the first time they come in, and we've made our brand as soft as possible, to make it as welcoming. But people are like, I mean, even people that are training at other gyms, you go to a new gym, it's still terrifying. What are they going to think of me, or what are they, like, and I don't go to other gyms really anymore. I'm just kind of like, I do go to other gyms for other reasons, or like I am quite interested in looking at what other gyms are doing and not just CrossFit gyms. But that idea of like, well, maybe I don't move as well as I think, or I don't know.
It's quite, because I'm going in there with these athletes that are all in shape.
Yeah.
They know how to snatch and clean and all these crazy movements, and I'm here like, don't know what to know. I know how to bench press.
Yeah, I went to Gymbox for like nearly 2 years, and I don't think I spoke to literally a single person other than 2 or 3 mates that I knew already.
Yeah,
Maybe I was just really antisocial, but I could probably recognize 100 people from there, but I never spoke to any of them, all the staff, ever.
I couldn't name a single person that works at Gymbox.
Victoria, I fancied on the desk, who I spoke to once, and that fizzled out because she got told to sell her soul to Dubai. One of those. But that was short-lived. She was the only person I spoke to.
What was her name?
What was it? Sophia. Exposed to.
Exposed. I thought when you first joined, you were a tough nut to crack.
Why?
It's just
probably because I'm so used to public places not being friendly.
Yeah, you were really cautious. Like, I think you were a lot more open, but still a bit cautious. But you were just like, a lot of the time I felt like, oh, why is this guy talking to me? Like, I just want to shoot the shit and just say, oh, what's going on, Matt Kelly? And you would be like, oh, don't talk to me.
And you really ain't gone.
Then you asked me what's your podcast, which I found very surprising.
I know he's coming to a flat pie now. Here he goes. Yeah, that's interesting. It's a different way of doing things.
Yeah, I mean, it's a personal business. It's kind of what it is. And then it's like you're saying, is now all I'm trying to do is figure out how to scale everything and just me.
I also do think broadly, especially post-COVID, the whole fucking world is fucked because no one knows how to speak to anyone that they don't already know, basically. And it's almost like if you speak to a girl in the street, not that I do that because I'm also a fucking weirdo. I'm too scared to do that. If I did that, my first thought would be she thinks I'm a creep, not this is normal.
Yeah.
Because the whole world now is just Instagram.
Yeah.
People have literally forgotten human contact.
I talk to everybody. The other day I was in Zara with my girlfriend, and I was just like, she ran off to get something, and so I just started chatting to the guy behind the desk, and he started telling me about his sick dad and all this sort of thing. And then Emma comes by, we pay, and I was like, oh, good luck with your sick dad. And she's like, what the hell? Yeah, I was like, well, yeah, just take an interest in people and they'll like open up, and like it's pretty simple. But I think it's like you say, I mean, I walk into restaurants now and our waiters walk but like left, right and center around me, and they won't even say, oh, I'll be right with you, sir, or anything like that. They just ignore you, and I'm just like, the fuck this place.
Every business, right, they need, some people call it like a moat, right, which these kind of, I don't know, competitive advantage edges, if you like, that stop or make it difficult for competitors to compete with you, or make it difficult from customers to kind of jump ship into another business. And I definitely feel now, if I moved away or wanted to switch gyms, it's actually the relationships I have with you guys and knowing everyone. It kind of makes it a lot more difficult. I feel like I'd be going through a breakup almost. And I know Sarah, who lives in my building that trains at Slevin as well, she was saying like her landlord is taking a place back, etc. And she was looking for a new place. She said, oh, I need to be local because I need to be near Slevin. I was like, people are literally making decisions on where they want to live based on staying at the gym, and just proves the fact.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's made relationships there, and I mean, it is nuts. We've got a couple of other members that are trying to move closer because they're already really far, and one of their offers fell through to something, and they're just like, oh, I can't wait to live closer. You can come on the weekends. It takes us 2 hours to get here on the weekend, and like, fucking hell. Like,
it is very contest.
It is. Yeah. But
it's family.
I get
all the best brands though. Ultimately, are like a cult, aren't they? Like look at Gymshark in the early days. Obviously, easy example, but represent clothing now. That's like a cult. I'm trying to build a cult. It just takes time. It's harder to do online as well, I think, because there's no fucking in-person shit.
No.
So I'm trying to do more offline stuff with my business now, because I realize it's so fucking
everyone's doing Instagram ads. How do you compete differently?
I think
Do shit that no one's doing.
I don't know. I've been to like fitness shows, and a lot of the online kind of coaches, what they talk about is even online is building that community online. So I guess like I was looking, we were talking about Pure Sport the other day as well.
Yeah,
like how
really well.
they've done a really good, like they've built a community that's also physical as well. Like they meet up and go running and stuff like that, and fitness and all that. And but then they're all buying the products, obviously. Well, maybe they're not. I don't know. But
Yeah.
you know, I think that's super interesting. I think if you build that community somehow, or I like to call it more like a culture, like, because if you just have community, like I think a lot of CrossFit gyms have communities and they have like all these offshoot things, but they don't necessarily have a culture. So that thing where all the coaches made you feel welcome, like we talk to the coaches, say, you make sure you know everybody's name, you know a little bit about them. You say hi when somebody walks in. If you don't know somebody's face, you introduce yourself. But like other CrossFit gyms aren't doing that, and I don't know why. It's so easy, but it's just those little things that make you feel welcome. And then you're like, oh, I came 4 weeks ago, and this guy still remembers my name and my face. I suddenly feel a lot more at ease, and I'm not just at a random gym that no one gives a shit about me, you know. So like those are the sort of things that we try to instill with the coaching team, which I think like it's just so easy if you did that with other brands, or I don't know how you do that online. That's difficult.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
So the CrossFit franchise thing, how does that work?
So
because I used to go to the first CrossFit gym I ever went to, tell a lie saying I hadn't done it before, was where Chris Williamson from Modern Wisdom used to go. You know, he's got a massive podcast now. It's like on Rogan and shit. What was it called? CrossFit Tyneside. So in Newcastle. I used to go to uni there before I dropped out.
it's a big gym, Matt. And
yeah, so, but I swear they branded it. They have like CrossFit stickers everywhere. I don't notice that with you.
no, so the CrossFit affiliate model is, so the CrossFit was started by a guy called Greg Glassman back in 2002 or something like that.
Is he rich as fuck?
He is rich, but he had a big falling out during COVID, and he's no longer the CEO. So, and this is also a reason why you'll see a lot of CrossFit gyms that don't have the CrossFit brand on them. So, he created a methodology, basically it revolutionized the market place, and he's a real, I would say, libertarian, real kind of maverick, just says a lot of things that are quite offensive. And I think in 2018, when the whole Black Lives Matter, was it 2020?
I remember reading about this.
In 2020, he made some comments that then basically everybody just said, well, you've crossed the line. And he had to step aside as CEO. Basically, a lot of CrossFit gyms disaffiliated. So they said, we're not running the CrossFit methodology anymore.
No way.
And then...
How bad were the comments?
Expensive comment.
It's a very expensive comment. I mean, it's something that I'm very reticent to talk about as a CrossFit gym owner, and like, I think like politics is not something I kind of want to go into, especially with like just a lot of the members, but it's quite easy to kind of find online. But he just said, he made some comments on Twitter and stuff, and he was also very anti-COVID, all the lockdowns and all that sort of thing, which I think is very much a CrossFit thing anyway. It's like we're trying to promote a healthy lifestyle, so
agreed.
You know, we are inherently going to be better protected against the metabolic diseases because we're training so much and we're fit and we're healthy. We're taking care of our nutrition and what we put in our bodies and all that. So he was obviously, from the other side of it with the whole COVID thing, where he'd be like, well, instead of locking everyone down, why don't we get everybody to eat better, work out more, go to CrossFit gyms, and then
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I think back in pandemic times, when everyone is locked in their houses, you're not allowed to say that stuff, right? But I think with everything we know now, it's kind of changed. But so anyway, we ended up disaffiliating. So interestingly, it was kind of a business decision. It was in the end more of a business decision, and it's something we were going to probably do, and we would have probably realized in about a year or two later So in a way, it kind of accelerated things for us because we were like, we're our own brand. We're Slevin. We're Sun already. Like, people don't come to us necessarily for the CrossFit. They're like, well, you know, we're Slevin. So why don't we make our own things out of this thing? And we ended up doing that. We ended up creating a new class style called 24/7, and then we branded our CrossFit class as SlevinX. So anything that would happen potentially in the future, so say the new CEO says something terrible, or CrossFit goes down a route that we don't want to necessarily go down, then we'd be like, okay, well, we're our own thing anyway, so we don't have to come.
But do you pay a license?
Brand. Yeah, we paid. Yeah.
Do you have to do that though?
Yes, to say anything that you're a CrossFit gym, to be on their website, and all that sort of thing.
But you're not an affiliate.
We are an affiliate.
I mean, we said you disaffiliated.
We disaffiliated, but then we affiliated again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot that bit.
Makes sense.
What's the difference between affiliating and not? Can you be part of CrossFit without affiliating?
No. So if I were to,
like
if I were to not be an affiliate, if I was an affiliate, I'd not be able to say I run CrossFit classes or do the methodology of CrossFit. Yeah, which is what we do, and we're proud to do it.
Would you get in trouble if you stopped paying a fee, but people were still coming because they thought it was CrossFit?
At what point does it become CrossFit?
How do they?
It's become quite a dubious line. So there's obviously lots of gyms out there that probably do a lot of CrossFit, but or call it their own sort of thing, but they're not necessarily calling it CrossFit. They'll call it WOD class, or they'll they'll kind of get around it. But we're more than happy to pay the fee. And honestly, Tim and I, we fell in love with CrossFit and the methodology, and it like has nothing to do with Craig Glassman or anything like that. And if anything, the way that the world is kind of moving and the way that fitness is moving, like, I don't think you necessarily want to just pin yourself on one specific thing, going like one thing, like, okay, we're pure CrossFit. But I think where CrossFit was in 2008 and where it is in 2023 are vastly different. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to move with the times now, and that's including more things like the 24/7 class, which is more strength and conditioning focus, and having another option for people not just to do the CrossFit methodology, which, you know, I found very tough, I think, on the body. And I think like trying to find a happy medium between doing the 7X classes, 24/7, doing a lot of the other classes that we offer as well, so we can give people longevity as well. Because if we're promoting a lifestyle, we've got to make sure that we're going to provide a workout for people for life, not just the 6 months that they're there and then you're like, okay, you just go nuts for 6 months and then you get injured or something like that, which could potentially happen at other CrossFit gyms. But I think that's the beauty of the affiliate model, is every gym is able to kind of do what they want to do. And then I guess the better gyms will come out of it, and then other gyms will copy that. And then that's how kind of progress is made. I think that's like a general life thing anyway.
How much competition is there in London? I can imagine it's the most competitive city in the world, is it? CrossFit?
Yeah. We've gone in Vauxhall, right?
Yeah, we've got one.
And Battersea. There's about 3 within about half a mile of here.
Brixton. We're not just competing with CrossFit gyms, we're competing with Barry's, One Rebel, Gymbox, The Foundry, Manor Gym.
There's F45 fitness brands these days.
Fitness brands, like there's one that's popping up now called BFT, which is another offshoot of F45 that's more strength focused.
High Rocks as well.
High Rocks is helpful for us, because High Rocks and turf games as well. So competitions for helping members get ready for these competitions have come to us to do that. But yeah, it's interesting. I saw a gym that's opened up in Walthamstow, and they've sold 50 memberships in like a second. And I just think that up there's no other gyms. And I think like, what did they do to sell those memberships so quickly? Is it just location? Well, but at the same time, it's just me and Tim here running the small business up against Barry's or, other kind of pretty big brands, Gymbox, and like.
I'm probably not afraid to lose money on acquiring customers.
No, exactly. I heard, I don't know if this is true at all, but I heard that the BFT gym that opened up in Battersea was spending 20K a month on marketing.
Oh, is that Beck Real Estate?
No, that's the Urban BMF, British Military Fitness.
Oh, okay.
The other ones, I don't know what BFT stands for. I get lost.
Yeah, I've seen it somewhere.
But that's just not. I mean, nowhere near the kind of money we're spending on any sort of marketing. So that's the kind of market that we're up against. So we have to make sure everything that we do looks great. Like with the gym itself looks fantastic, obviously with a new refurb, but everything we put out online, our communications, like I want it to look like that because I want to scale it now. Like, and what we're finding now, it's all the events that we run, we've done the branding, we've done all the hard work behind it, and now it's like, 7X Games is a competition that we're running in May.
They've signed up with
that you both have signed up for.
I signed up.
Yeah, I'll
his name down as well.
The sad thing is, if it was just rowing or skiing, I would win the whole thing by far. But it's not, because just for the record, no one in CrossFit knows how to row properly.
Yeah.
I think we've got a chance though. We're in intermediate.
Well, I just can't do weights. So I'll be fine on the cardio stuff.
But it's Ivo Judo style, right? So I was
I cannot do snatches. I
carry it.
There's not going to be too much straight. There's not going to be too much of that in the intermediate. You just make sure you can rope climb.
They haven't got that yet, have they?
What's that?
They haven't.
No. But I'm pretty sure there'll be rope climbs in that.
Yeah. I think a little brown envelope under the table. Nice snatches.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not so, like, just on this one event last year, I messaged 400 people on Instagram individually with like, sign up for this. We got 24 total signups for the.
Sounds like me messaging girls for parties.
Yeah.
You say when they're not listening to me to get some.
And then this year, I think we're at about almost 60 signups for out of 80. Our cap's 80. We've not marketed it. We've not put a video out. All we've done is put a couple of Instagram posts, and then
hounded,
and then but I haven't even I haven't spent time like doing just the boring, just mechanical, like going and messaging people and getting the word out that way. And
I think that is how you should scale though, because I would instantly say, why the fuck you're not running Instagram ads?
Well, I did last year.
Did it work?
No. I got 24 signups.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's different to D2C, but have you, like, how have you historically tried to scale it? Or have you just thought about it, like, it's a lifestyle business, organically, we'll see what happens?
I think...
Well, yes, for you, like, surely your costs don't increase much with members increasing.
No, the marginal increase
it's
minimal.
It's like an asymmetric return.
Yeah. So we just need to... that's what we're fighting.
So every new member is profit, pretty much.
Every member now is just... We're just literally just fighting. We want at least 100 more members, like... Then, which is all we're fighting for, is that day to day. And whether it's traditional word of mouth, so the way you guys... Well, you saw us, and then you told Matt about us. So that's how we've got a lot of our members, just through word of mouth. We're starting some flyering next week, some really old school stuff. So just literally handing out flyers, 10,000 flyers in Vauxhall. We've done tune pads. We do a lot of Instagram marketing. So we've got videos coming out this week about like the classes that we've put on and the space as well. So the videos of the space. Just putting out the A board on the street so people see it, and they come by and they're just every day they see it, and they walk by through work, and then they come in. I don't know. That's pretty much most of the ways, but most of what we do is on Instagram, like marketing wise, and it seems to work. But it's interesting though, like that gym that's opened up in Walthamstow, I don't think they're doing any Instagram ads, but I think there must be just a pent-up demand up there, and there's that's really smart. It's like location.
You're about looking fitness influencer come down and train.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of that now as well. So we've got lots of them coming down. We got a guy who's got 300,000 followers that's posting about us all the time, and we've invited quite a lot of them down to come and train and take pictures of the space, and it's interestingly bringing a lot more influencers down, not necessarily people that want to get fit, and we want to get them fit and healthy and solve their problems. And it's a really weird thing. Like, we're like, okay, we'll get these influencers down, and we're also working with micro influencers, so people that maybe have up to about 5,000 followers that are coaches at maybe F45 or at another kind of style of gym, and inviting them to come down and train at 7 and post about it so other people at those gyms might see it, because that's the kind of market where we're at. People have just finished doing F45 and they're bored of the HIIT and they kind of want that a little bit more. They want to learn the skill stuff that we do at the gym. And, you know, I don't know if it's working yet, but our membership is growing. So, you know, I think we're just going to try everything until we're kind of where.
So they're scaling the gym now. You have the one facility. What about scaling in terms of actually more facilities?
That's interesting. I've always been of the opinion, and you guys will probably tell me I'm a retard for this, but like,
well, Sean Matt Bernard back.
Right.
I want the best gym in London.
Yeah.
And I want to build something out where it's like, and we talked about the lifestyle, and once I think I scale it to more facilities, I'm not going to have the control. I'm not going to be able to have the control of like hiring really good staff, the best events, the best blah blah. And literally all I'm doing right now is trying to script everything, so it's like, this is our event that we run, this is the blah blah, and never say never. But you know, I just want to put the best holidays on. I want to have the best events and be known to be the best gym and be like that quality product that I think if I start to open 4 more locations, that whole thing will get diluted. And I think another side of this, which I've not talked about at all, is like the employee side of it. I want to have the best employees, but also pay the best money for my employees. And that would be, you know, like, because we're basically a family there. Like, they're not employees. Like, you know, if Laws, Jules, Matteo, Fran, everybody, like, they were there forever.
How many people do you have?
So we've got 3 full-time. So Laws was the first one to join, then Jules, and then Matteo's the newest one to come on board. And then obviously me and Tim. And then we've got about 9-10 others that they're doing part-time. But ideally, as we grow, we can start to kind of add more members to the team.
So those part-time people, do they have like day jobs?
Yeah. So some of them work in other gyms. Some of them actually work in completely different careers. So Sam's a solicitor. Sam, the best athlete in the gym.
For the planning authority in Hackney.
Yeah.
Which is that? Sam.
One is a bit of a beast, like.
He's the best. He's the best athlete in the gym, and if anybody's from the gym here will recognize he is. And not to big him up, but
Try to think who he is now.
Sam. Somewhere.
I don't know if we've done a session with him.
Thursday night, 7x7:30. He wears a baseball cap.
Well, he teaches the class.
Yeah.
Can't think of him in my head right now. It's not true, is it, Joe?
What can I walk with him up?
It's just pissed me off there. It's dead already with the charging pack.
Yeah. Right hand off.
Yeah, well, can show me.
I'll show you. But
you do realise that you'll never be able to if you grow that, you'll never be able to control everything, and that's just a transition every business. And
Back to Becky real quick. Sorry, I should have paused then because I've done 45 minutes and I always issue a pause after 40 minutes because it's
Quick one, fellas. You probably heard a few months ago I dropped an ecom course, a very fucking guru of me, but it's not that. I promise you, 0 to 1, how to start a brand from scratch with no budget, some budget, a bit of budget. Take your idea from a bedroom to reality to potentially 7-8 figures in sales, like I've done a few times, based on my 7 years of experience in the trenches and my current experience building my current brand, Space Goods. It's no bullshit, no frills. We've had like 75 people go through so far. Not a single person has asked for a refund. Plenty of people have actually built some seriously impressive shit. Covers every aspect of the business. Not just the front end stuff like most gurus on YouTube and Twitter are talking about, not just product, marketing, all that shit, but the real shit, the logistics, the back end, the supply chain, the customer service, the finances as well. This covers the whole spectrum, every part, 12 hours of video. If you're interested in scaling a brand 0 to 1, actually turning your idea finally into a reality, then click the link below, go check out Learn Real Commerce course and let me know what you think. I'll be glad to have you in there. Let's fucking go.
So I read a good quote today.
Tyler didn't even exposed.
Bit off topic. Build a company that idiots can run because eventually they will. It's true.
Oh, as in you have to...
As in create the systems and SOPs.
Well, I've been having this debate because of some recent hires myself, who, if I'm watching, I'm not saying about you, it's just sparked the conversation.
Do they still work for you?
Well, okay, the conversation is about people that don't, I guess, in that case. Yeah, I'm not going to go down this road, but the thing I struggle with is I've always been shit at delegation. I've got much better at it because I finally accepted to do what I want to do. I have to basically delegate everything, even like creative control to some extent, because I'm never going to build a 100 mil rev business, which I want to do. If I'm even now I do way too much.
So you're more of a creative than the operator?
Well, now I've finally hired an MD as of 3 weeks ago, which has been very weird, but I've just accepted that is the first step to like properly building a team, because previously it was always relatively junior people that ultimately were coming to me for everything, where now we've decided as of yesterday, like I said, everyone goes to you, as if I'm dead, and I just come in to speak to you and when I want to and on the things I want to. So it's not cheap, but I think long term it's worth it.
So back to scaling Slevin then. I mean, first of all, so you mentioned you want to create the best gym in London. What does that look like? What is the best gym in London? What is it? What needs to happen in order to you to say we've got the best gym?
I mean, I think we already have it. We're just kind of now putting everything in place to do that, and it goes from everything from what I was talking about with the employees. So, you know, having the best coaching team, but also taking care of them so that they have lives to buy houses, mortgages, have families, all that sort of thing. And I won't bore you guys on the fitness industry, but you probably realize that a lot of fitness coaches are working ridiculous hours for very little pay, running around, and they don't really have like high quality lives. So on that side of it, and like providing them a good quality of life, but that also comes with things like coaching education. So we've already started implementing our own program called Coaches Ed. So not only to build, and Matteo's been hired to kind of take this on now and start to scale that. And
so you're going to coach coaches? Exactly.
So not only our coaching team, but then also new coaches, and then we can cherry pick the ones that we like to come onto the team as well. But then also just as another source of revenue. So come do our course that's certified and learn how to coach functional training, learn how to coach CrossFit, learn how to coach X, Y, and Z. So that's one thing we're trying to scale at the moment. We just launched holidays, so that's something we'd like to do a little bit more as well. So we're working with another company called More Life Adventures. So ideally at some point we've got 2 holidays running a year for the members, one summer, one skiing, something like that. Which, again, promotes the lifestyle. People that want to go, like Sarah was saying, it's like, I don't want to just be close to the gym. I also want to go on holiday with everyone from the gym. And, other gyms are doing this as well.
Have you had an internal Slevin marriage yet?
Yes.
I was about to ask this.
Yeah, we have.
I mean, I say that slightly tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time.
Yeah.
What, they've met at the gym and they've got married?
Yeah, we've got a wedding in May. I'm going to the Stag next weekend.
And they met in the gym?
They met in the gym.
That's That's cool.
I mean...
It is a very good place to meet genuinely like-minded people, though, because even in a job...
I mean, I met Emma at 7.
No way.
Yeah, we met at 7.
Was she a customer?
Yeah.
What was your first, was it like love at first sight? Or was it like, I'm going to close this sale first?
I'm still trying to think who Emma is. I have 2 people in my head right now.
Emma Wilcock Fitness is what we call her.
Is she tall and blonde?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I thought she was your sister.
Oh, God.
How did you arrive at that?
I don't know. No, because I thought the other person who obviously isn't your girlfriend was your girlfriend. And then I saw her with you and I thought the chemistry seemed more than just friends.
Yeah.
I guess I was right, just in the wrong way.
Yeah, probably. I don't even know who the other person you're talking about is, but anyway. So yeah, we met at the gym, and that was before I had even bought the gym. It was a couple of, probably August, September. It was at some sort of event, but I probably know that a few of the people from Seven are going to be listening to this, so but yeah, it was weird. There was other girls involved, but in the end, Emma kind of fought through.
What do you mean there were other girls? Oh, okay.
There were other girls. I mean, yeah, I was. There was other girls at the gym.
You were top of the food chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top G.
And then
Hypergamy, I think the word is.
And then,
Gym
yeah.
hypergamy.
But I mean, going to other kind of relationships, there's quite a few relationships that have kind of budded out of it, and a lot of them that I don't know, and then people that have hooked up but then haven't,
I'm yet to have any women at Slevin fight over me, so
Yeah, same. Just putting it out there. We are single. Oh no, he's not. Sorry, he's not single. I often forget.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of want to put this stuff on. I think it's important. I think London is a really lonely place. I mean, when you're working quite long hours and you have the time to go out. I mean, basically also, like, the culture in London is either you drink and then that means you can go out and meet people.
So true.
Or not. But if I can make something social that's also kind of beneficial for your health and fitness, then kind of I'm hoping people will kind of gravitate towards that. And then fine, let's have drinks after FNL on a Friday night and go for a couple of beers, and that's actually where you kind of start to meet people a little bit more out.
I've never done a Friday session.
I've done one. I did one last Friday. Felt like I'm more of a Metcon.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if that was just the programming, but
Metcon's my favorite.
It's more cardio based. It's definitely.
It wasn't fun.
I love that shit. You would hate it.
You would love it. You would love it. You guys should
the
do
only
it on
stuff I'm
Friday
actually
night.
like good at.
We got WIT coming down, which is a really big.
Yeah, I've seen that.
brand.
Is that a CrossFit brand?
Yeah.
What does it stand for?
Whatever it takes.
Because I saw George Heaton with Represent did something with them recently.
Yeah. The Represent 247.
Yeah, that was it.
I feel like they stole it from Slevin, that. But
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Probably not.
Yeah.
That was a joke. But yeah, come on down. We're basically the whole gym from WIT, which is also a clothing brand, and it's merchandise that sprung out of CrossFit. So there's a couple of guys that started this brand because they love CrossFit, and they're like, let's make a store where we sell CrossFit stuff to CrossFitters, and they've done
just on WIT. I could be wrong, because I was reading about them, because some VC I've been speaking to, I've forgotten who it was either Active Partners, Red Rice, it was one of these big London VCs, and they invested I think it was 3 million quid into them. Have you ever thought about, this is going down a fucking tangent, but have you ever looked at that kind of way of scaling, like bringing on institutional money? Or angel money, or both?
Ever since I met you guys, that's actually what I've been thinking about.
Because I know for a fact that WIT did that.
Yeah,
just raise a shit ton of cash.
I know
burn
you guys
through
are doing this. Yeah, but I don't know. I think there's certain aspects of it is like I like you. What you're saying with your hiring an MD is like I really want control over what's going on, and it's my biggest fault.
And you're aware of that?
I'm aware of it. I'm very aware of it.
What's just on that? What's the dynamic between you and Tim?
As partners?
In terms of maybe official titles or who does what,
we're both directors of the company. I have a majority share of the company.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, I mean, so Tim got mouth cancer he got diagnosed with cancer it must have been May or June last year. Basically went through hell for the last 9-10 months with radio chemotherapy. I'm 19. We all know that CrossFit saved his life. I mean, it put him in a position health wise to take the whole treatment.
What a warrior!
And, I mean, incredible story. And I mean, he's wanting to start coaching now again, which is incredible. And he's on the way back. He's doing classes. He's starting a program and a whole bunch of stuff. It's an amazing story. And he's 62. And he's doing stuff that you'd expect no 62-year-old to be able to do.
He's a beast. Yeah,
I mean, he was doing muscle ups. He was teaching muscle ups at the age of 61 before cancer, and hopefully we'll get him back to doing that soon. But the guy was, in another world, another place, in hell, basically for 9 months. So I was on my own. It was probably the loneliest 9 months of my life, just trying to run this thing. Well, he gets diagnosed with cancer. We agree on the lease with Archco to move into this big facility. So I'm taking on a big projection, a big building works thing. while we're running the business, while I'm running the business, and then the building works go to shit. So then I'm also project manager while I'm running the business. It's all delayed. It's like it was a big shit show around October, November, December time, and finally we got it over the line in January, and we opened up. But that was a very, very difficult time in my life. I mean, it's really hurt my relationship with my girlfriend. I mean, just my health wise and stuff like that was like.
I mean, I remember you literally, when the transition happened from the one facility, you were literally there till the end of the day, and then sometimes I get in, like I do a 6:30 session. Yeah. You're there. I was like, do you not sleep?
No, and my sleep is fucked now. I started taking melatonin like last couple of days. Never taken before. It's great. It's like first like full night's sleep I've had in probably a year, and it's just been stress after stress. I mean, you work in property. I mean, you know what building works are like. I mean,
it's a shit show.
It's a shit show.
Nothing ever happens on budget or on time.
No. I mean, we're completely over budget. 2 months delayed. Fucking project manager that just, oh man, it was a ride. But you know what, like obviously I've grown a lot in that time, and in a way also it allowed me to kind of give some stuff to Laws and Jules a lot more, and they really stepped up, and they've been incredible, really.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them. Like they've been, like I couldn't speak highly enough of them. And but yeah, I mean, doing all that stuff, I mean, I don't know how to say it. Like, I don't think people would understand, like, just the amount of stuff that needed to be done at all times. And you get home from a full day's work, and then it's like, I've got 100 emails that now I have to answer.
You've got me emailing about why I've been charged for a no-show.
Yeah.
And he still replies in 10 minutes.
Fucking literally, yeah. I still do that, though, yeah. Yeah.
You need to outsource that shit.
Yeah.
So you and Tim then, so what's kind of what are your skills? What are the things that you do within the business versus maybe Tim?
Versus Tim. So Tim's, I'd say Tim, especially now that he's coming back, he's a lot more on the side of, all the legal aspect of everything. Legal documents, contracts, just discussions with
compliance, I guess,
compliance, health and safety, literally all that sort of thing. Like HR stuff he's just been, without him it would have just been impossible. I mean, I don't know anything about all this stuff. So there's been a lot of negotiations with the landlord, not only just with the new facility, but then over COVID with like relief and stuff like that, and a whole number of things. Now we're dealing with rates as well, so just getting his legal expertise and things, and interestingly getting Sam to help us with stuff as well.
Okay.
And it's the great thing about having a gym with people in all walks of life. So yeah, that stuff, he's helping a lot of, obviously, with like facility management, but then also just sales and just general stuff. But then I'd say just everything else is like I take that on board with marketing, a lot of the branding work. So one of the guys, I'm going to shout out to Max Crane, who's basically developed the whole Slevin brand. He's the creative director. He's a freelance creative director, and he's basically understood Slevin's brand better than I could ever explain it. And he's kind of put that out there for the world. And like, we work together closely every month to put out the posts or animations or the Flex brand itself, which for those that don't know, the Flex is our kind of new personalized ecosystem where we do personal training and nutrition and programming and all this sort of stuff. And this is the stuff that he's kind of helped us develop. And we were developing Flex while we're doing a build, while Tim's got cancer and all this sort of thing, but then also trying to run the day-to-day of people not signing into Oprah Gym and that sort of shit.
I reckon I'm the most annoying fucking customer you've ever had.
No, you're not. You're definitely not.
Top 3?
Not even.
Fair enough.
I think you're right. I think you haven't emailed in a few weeks now.
I just accept I'm doing 50 quid a month in overcharges.
I get charged here and there. I don't even know what it's for. I just must book and then.
That's how they make profit.
Yeah. You'd think so, but those late charges are just, I mean, but after fees and then after VAT, you're just like
that's probably the problem. The late fees aren't uncomfortable enough to actually.
Yeah, could be. We've had
That's
those
a good
fees.
point.
We've had. Yeah, it's interesting. We kind of.
We go to £20 a head.
Yeah. I mean, there's an argument to say if you no show, it's the cost of a class, which is £25.
Yeah.
But I think people would kick off. I think the reality of it is
cancel on time and.
The reality of it is people have busy lives. People cancel and stuff like that, and I get all sorts of emails every day about changing classes and no shows and all this sort of thing. And £2.50 for a lot of people, like for yourself, for example, you're like you email in about it.
Wait, hold on. Exposed.
Why are you emailing in about
Yorkshire.
£2.50?
No, it was more. How does this work?
Yeah.
Now I was just interested at the start.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
You're like, why have I been charged £2.50? No, you didn't. You cancelled late or something. But what's weird is you're cancelling late for open gym at 3 p.m, which
so I just don't book for that anymore. I don't book for that.
Just no need to do it.
So just on pricing then, because from an outside perspective, I would say CrossFit's definitely a pretty upmarket thing.
Yeah.
Like circa 200 quid a month. Most people, would probably not even pay 100 quid a month
Is that
for
what
gym
it
box.
is?
I pay more than that.
Do you know what you pay?
I remember just asking. I don't know. I can't remember what I pay.
I guess by default, the customer base is relatively affluent to some extent, or they obviously care about fitness enough to invest in their health. But it's not fucking pure gym. So do you think that is limiting for CrossFit? And on that point, in terms of other locations, if you opened one in say, fucking Notting Hill or Hampstead, do you not think you would send memberships out the door like nothing because there's more money around there? But then I guess, everyone in central London's got money to an extent, but is that ever a consideration?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you
base.
go to Wigan, it's 50 quid a month unlimited.
Because my brother does it in York and it's like 45 quid.
Yeah. So it obviously
is that just
depends.
a reflection of
it's a reflection
the cost
of
to
rent and the cost of the everything, right? So, I mean, if it was up to me, I guess it is up to me, but I think the product's worth a lot more. I mean, you're getting coaching, you're educated on how to train, you're getting programming, you're getting all these things, much more than if you're going to say Barry's, right? Where you're getting a cheerleader, someone to be like, motivate you, and maybe you get some screens or something to tell you what you're doing, but you're actually learning something at the gym. But that's just where the price of CrossFit is. I think it's seriously underpriced, but I also think the fitness market is about, like everything, it's fast food, fast whatever, fast fashion, fast fitness. So F45, get your HIIT classes, come in, sweat a whole bunch and you're going to be fit. But like to get someone to buy in, to be like, well, actually to get fit, you need to learn how to move. You got to sort out your mobility issues. Basically what Tyler's doing now with he's doing PTs with Jules to, sort out his mobility, but also, learn the skills and all that sort of thing. But that costs money, to learn how to do all that and to fix your actual issues.
And shout out to Jules because my hips were, everything was so bad. But now I'm overhead squatting, I'm getting my ass to the grass, and it's nuts how it's a few sessions will and obviously mobility is actually quite a long time, but sometimes you just need the guidance to kind of learn how to do something. Or I know you talk about mentors, stop being a busybody and get someone to learn from somebody, and you'll get to the place a lot quicker. And I think for a lot of people, they're like, well, with fitness, it's I just need a 6-pack, or I just need to trim down for my wedding or something like that. But it the long-term vision of it. So that ultimate thing where you get mouth cancer and you're going to get hit with double chemo radiotherapy, how are you going to survive that? People don't think about that, and I don't think we should necessarily be thinking about that when we're joining a gym. No, but I think
all that sort of, all those kind of levels it's all part of it, and you're not going to get that from just doing some HIIT classes 3 times a week.
I mean, I will never be frugal on anything that comes to my health.
Yeah.
Whether it's gym, food, whatever, same. I will always spend as much as I need to spend.
Yeah, I spend a lot of money on food and supplements and shit.
Yeah.
Supplements, really.
And speed.
Well, to be fair, supplements, Athletic Greens, like 90 quid a month. I buy my own shit, which is fucking great. It's like 40 quid a month. Well, I don't pay for that. That's about it, to be fair. Then Huel protein.
Yes,
stuff like that.
Huel
I
subscription.
spend a lot on like steaks. Eat steak like 3-4 times a week, which everyone tells me is bad, but then
Like
that person
grass-fed or something like that. Or
just fancy Waitrose shit down there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hope it's grass fed.
Yeah, it is. I have
Probably.
the same one every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad if you have it. I think if you have something quite a lot, your body gets used to it.
Yeah.
But I also think when it comes to food, you could watch 100 hours of YouTube videos on why you should not eat anything. Why vegan is bad. Why vegan is great. Why carnivore is bad. Why
Find what
carnivore is
works for
great.
you.
Just don't eat shit and work out, and you're healthier than 99% of people.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to scaling.
Yeah. It's the big question this year. This is
Raise a shit ton of cash.
Do you have a goal in mind though with that? Because Chad scaling, as I call it, which I used to do in the past, just scaling for the sake of scaling, isn't sensible.
well. I mean, I guess I started talking about the coach's education, the holidays, competitions is another great kind of revenue stream.
Sure.
So it's, we've got turf games coming at the end of this month as well. So they're hiring out the space. There's shared revenue on that. There's having our own competitions, like say we had a High Rocks down as another competition or some sort of brand like that. So I think there's just so much to do within the space before I even look to scale beyond it, that I can squeeze everything out of it. I'm like, just the brand ourselves. I mean, we just launched all these jumpers and t-shirts and stuff, and like I was talking to Tim about this. I was like, in a couple of years you got 400 members, who's to say that suddenly people want to buy Slevin branded stuff and it becomes its own clothing brand as an offshoot, and it's just that out of this brick and mortar we're now starting to scale things further, like online, so we start selling clothing online or something.
I just feel if you wait for the facility you have to become the best version of itself, it'll just be a never-ending process.
Yeah.
And you'll never make the jump to get that second facility or the third facility.
Yeah.
Also, how do you limit the amount of members in one facility? Where is the sweet spot? Because I mean, Pure Gym, even Gymbox, like it was getting so fucking busy.
Even I think when you're in the facility before we were now, I remember it was actually quite hard to book in on a few sessions, and I thought, fuck this. But then you moved and
it's about to cancel.
Yeah. Well, it's tough, I guess. We think we're at about 450 members is what we're able to get, so we're a couple hundred away from 450. But we're profitable now. Our rent's going up in July, so we got to get more members. We've got a stepped up rent from there, but we're working. We're just pushing. But we're really pushing every avenue possible right now to make revenue, but the sweet spot for us is just members. If we get members, consistent recurring members, but it's hard, man. We're competing against so many different ideologies or methodologies, not ideologies, but
it seems like CrossFit as an interest is growing as a market.
Yeah, it's interesting. I get two people that walk in, one that's inherently interested in CrossFit. So my grand tour, I'll take them through the 24/7 arch, the smaller arch, explain to them the classes there, blah blah, like this you do benching and squatting and all this stuff that you do at the gym and cardio and stuff, and then I take them into the 7X arch, which is our CrossFit arch, and I'm like, oh, here we do CrossFit, and like no, and it's incredible. It's so many people would just be like, they're just instantly like turned off by that, and I'm like, oh well, come in to start with this, and inevitably, I mean, we've had members that have just said the same. No way am I doing CrossFit. I mean, you're kind of like you're borderline kind of saying the same thing.
I thought I'd do the 24/7 strength and conditioning. Fine, I'll never do the CrossFit. Yeah. And then I'd look at all the guys that do CrossFit, and I was like, well, they're in much better shape. Yeah. As an average, and I thought, okay, well, I'd rather be in that room. Yeah. And I want to be in rooms where I'm uncomfortable. Yeah. And so I just.
Yeah, and now you basically do 7X exclusively. Yeah. And FNL once.
Is that you would consider the primary hero CrossFit class? 7X.
Yeah, that's our.
That's
CrossFit.
the one that hurts my back every time.
Yeah.
And I regret doing it, but then I keep doing it.
Yeah, but this is why I saw Jules and she fixed me. Yeah. Because prior my back would always flare up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jules is fixing my hips as well, and it's working well.
She's the hip
Yeah.
fixer.
Yeah.
I've probably got a lot of pent up back abuse from years of rowing and weights and Chad lifting.
Yeah. Yeah, but
She needs to unpack it.
it's so many different things, so many different aspects on that. But the reason why we created the 24/7 as well is to give people a bit of a break as well from the 7X. Is like, if you are beating yourself up too much, go into the other one. There's a lot more accessories. It's just a lot kinder to your body, and it's I think a lot more like long term. So like, do the 7X classes, but mix them up with some of the other classes, Metcon, mix them up with FNL or the 24/7, and I think you could have potentially a longer result. But I think when you're starting into like getting into CrossFit, you've got to do it, because a lot of it is practice. So you got to practice your double unders, you got to practice the gymnastics, you got to practice these things under fatigue as well. And if you're doing single leg RDLs, it's gonna kind of bulletproof your body, but it's not gonna get you better at doing high volume toes to bar, for example, which you got to learn by doing it.
I'm pretty good at those.
Yeah.
Mm.
But you were a gymnast, right?
Well, not really. No. When I was younger, I used to like do some gymnastics
Used to be a
stuff.
girl.
Yeah. What about mobility class?
So mobility is a really individualized thing. We've done mobility classes before, and they start great, and then people get bored of it. It's just a bit of yoga kind of thing.
That.
But I think when it's individualized, like what you're doing, what I'm doing, it's a game changer, because you're doing, if you think of mobility like progressive overload, it's basically progressing your range and your strength through that range. Like, if you then work progressively and just keep pushing that, then you're going to get better mobility through that. But if you just kind of come to random classes, you start to do this or that, you're going to feel better after it, but not necessarily see the results that you're seeing or see the results that I'm seeing. So that's the reason why we don't necessarily have a mobility class, which a lot of members have asked for. But within the Flex brand, it's something now through the physio work, and like Jules is working a lot now on doing movement assessments, and like I think I'm one of her kind of like case studies as well, to kind of then put out to some of the members and be like, look, this is the kind of results you can see, because I've had 3 hip surgeries, so like I've got fucked up hips, so
Is that from CrossFit?
Yes and no.
Everyone's injured in CrossFit.
Yeah.
Yes and
Hold
no.
on.
Yes and no.
That's why people hate CrossFit.
I've always been tight in the hips, but I think I've always been active, and I've never. I basically had a impingement in the hips, so basically a bone, like within the socket, bone was going into the bone and was like causing damage into the socket, and that was exacerbated by CrossFit, I would say. But it also highlighted the fact that I had that issue, which if I had been sedentary, might not have realized until I was 50 or 60, and then might have had a full hip replacement and probably been a lot more immobile than what I am now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those are the sort of things that we're trying to help people do. I think, like, back to this idea of what do I want out of this gym? I want the best gym, not just all the events and all that sort of stuff, which is great for extra revenue, all the rest of it, but how can we help Tyler Newman? How can we help Matt Kelly? How can we help, Karen, who's a 40-year-old mom at JP Morgan with a mortgage, and she's miserable with her life, but
I'll help her out.
Yeah.
Intro her to Tyler. That's how you can help.
I can help her.
But how can we help you guys out? And you're all so different and individual, but like I think we have the facility now where we're able to do that, whether it's through the group classes or through more personalized services.
Do you think you
Flex.
scare off the opposite, which is like elite purebred CrossFitters, by being so welcoming to like the civilian types like me? Or is that net beneficial to open it to all?
They all do open gym though.
Yeah, they all come in for the open gym, and we're getting a lot more coming down, like more competitors, and that's another thing that we're trying to do is get members to do High Rocks. Or we went to Battle for Middle Ground last week, which is a CrossFit event, and we had 15 members competing there, which is cool, and we had members come support, and it's kind of like a marathon. You prepare for that, so you give them something to prepare for, and then we can give them programs and we can help them get better for that. So it's interesting. Like I watch or listen to a lot of podcasts on gyms and stuff, and they're like, focus on one thing. And what we've done is said, fuck that, we're going to do everything. And we're helping everyone from, you know, people that are recovering from injury, or they just want really individualized PTs, don't want anything to do with the group classes, to people that want to be elite competitors, to just people that want to, I don't know, have some fun and drink beers on Friday nights after class, you know. So I think that's also the big challenge for me, is how do we market it to all these different people, which is obviously a big challenge.
Do you have a specific customer acquisition strategy though? Like you said, you're not running ads. Like up to now, what has it mainly been? Word of mouth? Because I guess
we do run ads.
You have massive
Instagram.
LTV on like a fucking subscription, 200 quid a month.
I mentioned Hormozy, the gym launch thing. You know, Alex Hormozy that I mentioned the other day, like the gym launch thing that he used to do. It'd be interesting to look at the acquisition strategy.
Like do you have a target CAC, like cost per acquisition? Or do you not think about
we just have a
like
budget for marketing, which is not very much at all. It's about $1,000 a month.
Because that's where I think if I was running this business tomorrow, and I'm not, and I don't know the intricacies of it, I would just go and fucking, it's a great pitch to a VC, because if you can work out your LTV, which you can, call it 1,000 quid, your CAC could be up to fucking 500 quid probably to have loads of margin left. But then the problem's just cash, which it is for most businesses that work.
Yeah.
Then you can go and raise 2 million quid at, I don't know, 10
we
mil
don't even
barrel.
need. I don't think we even need that. I think we need. I mean, we pissed.
And then just
I
build
was
out a
hoping.
filthy funnel.
I pissed away 200k more than I wanted to on this, and I'm basically, everything's in this business now. Like basically my life depends on this business. But now I don't have anything to work with, so I'm like, fuck. So I've just basically got to do everything and build it from here.
Sure, but now you have something that you can show to whoever, and I can see it. I can see it being, whether it's a license model, a franchise model, all under one holding company, for sure, across London.
Yeah.
And I think you've done such a good job of, although we're talking a lot about CrossFit, it's not really pushed too much as a CrossFit gym.
No.
It just seems more like a social gym, which has the
I think you need to push the community first.
Yeah.
I think especially like in 2023, I think people are waking up to the fact that the world is fucked. Everyone's lonely.
Yeah.
You have to be fit anyway, or you should be. So why not do it in a social place?
It's our brand, Fitness Made Social.
Yeah.
We've trademarked that. You know, like that's literally what we're trying to sell. But it's like I said, I don't think the issue is we work in a market where it's like people just want to go into fitness to just fucking burn calories, and it's kind of changing that perception, but it's a different way of kind of going at it, and we're doing well out of it. But I think our big issue is how do we get the word out? And like I said, like we're trying lots of different avenues, but within our means. I think, you know, maybe if we had outside help, it would make a big difference. But, you know, I've been looking at license model as well. Like we've got our own programming that, you know, Loz does a fantastic job of, and like this is all like our ideas of like how we want to run a gym, and it's very unique to us. And I think the ecosystem allows people to start from 0 and go to 100, and I don't think a lot of gyms have that. But it also allows people to kind of dabble into different things. So yeah, there's so many ways. And back to your scaling thing, how can we scale? If we have a big enough name, online programming is another way. So a lot of famous gyms do affiliate programming. So there's a big gym run out of California called NC Fit. They do programming for affiliates. So me as an affiliate could pay money to run their programming at my gym. But these are the sort of things that we as a brand have always thought, well, I'm never going to have someone else's programming. Like this is my business. I'm going to have my viewpoint on this sort of thing. And that's kind of where that with the Greg Glassman thing back in 2020, we were just like, okay, this is where we're going anyway. Like we're Slevin, and we kind of even dropped the name CrossFit Fitness. We just say Slevin. It's like, this is what it is now, and that's how people know us, and we're more than fitness now. So that's kind of where we're going. How do we scale it now is kind of the big question. So What do you guys think?
Well, I just think you can't scale a business without consistent data-backed marketing.
Put a
Yeah.
dollar in, get a dollar
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's obviously easier in principle, in theory, than it is in practice. Everything is, but I think there has to be a paid acquisition strategy, whether that's leaflets or influencers or brand collabs or Instagram ads.
Yeah.
I think it's probably an efficient blend of all of them. But I think the key thing is knowing what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
You're trying to get more customers. All right, so what's the LTV? What can you afford? I mean, I'm talking D2C speak, but it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's a business, and every customer has a lifetime value, and every customer has an acquisition cost. So it's working out what's the balance and how quick could you fulfill 200 extra members,
Mhm.
because you could probably scale too quick if you did that next month, right? And then, but yeah, I think there has to be
It's
a paid
interesting.
acquisition strategy, even if it's £3,000 a month to start with.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be fucking 100 grand
so
a month.
we're looking at putting a bit more in now as well to the marketing, but we just hit 5,000 followers on our Instagram, which was a tiny number, but hit that number, said we're going to give out 2 free memberships. We had over 200 comments of people tagging their friends, all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fucking hell, I've got people are genuinely interested in this gym.
There's
now.
200 leads there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I spent all morning emailing all these people, well, messaging all these people with, okay, you didn't win the thing, but here's a special offer for you to come in.
P.S. No one won the thing. Did anyone win
No,
it?
people won it.
Yeah,
People won it. Yeah,
So I
people
know
won
brands
it.
do that.
But
Giveaways.
and we've messaged them, and they're coming down, and they're super excited. I've
What, a lifetime membership or just a month?
just a month.
Yeah.
But
But they've got to sign a 12-month contract.
yeah. No,
Free
it's just a
plus
month.
shipping.
It's just a month, and there's no contract. It's just they get to come in and train. And we gave run-out prizes, which we didn't announce as well, just because of the interest. And then I've also been like, well, bloody hell, there's all these people that want to join this gym. I'm going to give them some sort of offer, like a little bit of a buy-in to come in and do it. And I've spent the morning doing that, and I'm like, all right, let's see all these people come in, and still they're not like. I haven't seen any like sign-ups with the new kind of offer that I given them, but I granted it's Saturday morning on Easter, but
Oh yeah, follow them.
Yeah.
For sure. Get across the line.
but I mean, maybe we'll get 5 or 10 members out of it, but it was a kind of pretty cool marketing thing that we did that just kind of came out of just, oh shit, we're almost at 5k followers, let's do something about it. But it was interesting to see how many people were on the periphery and that sort of thing that were looking into it and being interested in coming down. And but yeah, I don't know, sometimes I tell the team, I'm like, I don't get it. I'm 90% sure that I work 10 times more than a lot of the other guys at some of the other CrossFit gyms for like a lot less return, in the sense of like, I see these other gyms launch, and you're like, how did you get 100 members? You're not doing any ads, you're not doing any marketing, you're not doing all this sort of thing. Is it just the location? Could be. But
is there a gym globally that you look at, or like a franchise or an owner, and think they've done that really well? I would like to emulate that in my own way. Whether it's CrossFit or anything else, but a fitness business.
yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot. I mean, I look at NC Fit, Jason Kalipa. He was
one of the big time guys.
He was the first time.
Yeah.
Like I think he won the first or the second CrossFit
Yeah.
Games, but I mean, he's created a license model, and he's created his own franchise within CrossFit itself, and he disaffiliated after the whole Greg Glassman thing, and I think they've reaffiliated now. I don't know, but he basically offers similar product to what we do, which is like all these different programs. He's got probably about 10 locations all around like California that are actually his, and then I don't know globally how many like affiliates he's got as well, which confuses things because there's CrossFit and them. I listen to his podcast a lot as well. A podcast I listen to a lot is this guy called Stu Brower. He's the WTF Gym Talk, and he created a gym in North Carolina, and then he affiliated his thing, but he licensed it out. But then where I think he made his money was he went into property with his business. So he used his business. So he used his business to buy the land, or the location he was in, paid himself rent through this other his business paid. He created another like shell company or something, and then paid that off, and then
I can smell a Tyler Newman x Slevin collaboration.
yeah.
Slevin
something like
raises £400 million debt facility with JP Morgan.
Which is really, really quite interesting. It's impossible where we are because we're in a network rail kind of arch and stuff, but that sort of thing really interests me as well as like a long-term goal. Is like, okay, things are really going well. What do we do with this business now? Like that sort of thing.
Own the land that the business sits on.
Yeah.
The McDonald's
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah. Well, it's super smart. He's like, well, I'm paying rent anyway, so I'll just do this. And
it sounds like from a scaling perspective, there's a lot of kind of these limiting beliefs that are holding you back. That I'm not going to be able to hire the same people, great people. I'm not going to be able to manage this. I'm not going to be able to manage that. And I think that's just a step at some point inevitably you're going to have to take.
Yeah.
But if you've created the systems, the procedures, and you've got something that you can kind of copy and paste, it might never be perfect.
Yeah.
But there comes a point, is like, do you want 10 gyms that are maybe like a 7 out of 10 or one gym that's a 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Well, it depends what you want, right?
Yeah. Of course.
That is a question to answer.
Also, what kind of revenue is the 7 out of? Yeah.
Do you want an exit? Do you want to build something to sell? Do you want to build something that can just fund a lifestyle? Like
I definitely want an exit. I think it's a 5-year plan. We've 5-year plan at this point. What that means with the exit wise, but doing something different, I don't know yet. But my life is so consumed with the gym that it's like it's hard to even like look at anything else that's going on. I mean, I'm sure you guys understand that as well with your businesses. But you're like, they're like, all this stuff's going on.
I really want an exit, and I'm going to buy fucking 14 pink Rolls Royce. I've thought it all through, but I probably chase money a bit much. But there we go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm tired of chasing now. I'm just like I'm ready to start to enjoy the business a little bit more. But it'll come. I think like at some point, all the stuff we're doing is going to work, and we'll get to like a big success. But someone said to me the other night, it was a couple weeks ago, he's like, don't be a busybody. Like, he's like, don't fuck around with just
the fact that you
answering
even said
these emails or whatever, like I should stop doing that. But, I'm a fucking idiot.
What's F45? What are they? Do you know like what their valuation is, or they raise money?
So they're a worldwide global franchise. Do you know anything about them?
Like Mark Wahlberg is an ambassador or something,
right?
Yeah,
Semi Barry's, right? Like similar sort of scale.
Yeah.
Especially in America.
Yeah. I mean, they're an Aussie brand. They started in Australia. I don't know like sort of valuations of them, but I know that I think they're struggling at the moment. I think where the market is going, I think they've kind of their growth strategy, especially after COVID, it didn't pan out, and I think they were expecting 2 times the amount of kind of growth that they got, and then I don't know. I think they're going through a restructure and sites are closing, but I don't know more than that really. I don't have time.
Might be a good example of some founder that just raised a shit ton of money, licensed out the brand or like expanded, took loads of money off the table, and now whatever happens, and
I'm guessing that guy, he's sitting pretty rich at the moment. But I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, F45 closed down the road from us, and we got
closed.
Yeah.
No way.
The one down the road.
It just.
There's still an ad above that, I swear. I see it every fucking day.
I know. And it hurts me every day to see it. I'm just like, if I tell them that that's still there, they're going to realize it's still there, and then they're going to want to charge me 10 grand a month for it. But I mean, who's paying for it? Obviously no one. So maybe we should just go up and
guerrilla marketing.
Paint on it.
You should
something.
like cross it out and go to Slevin with an arrow.
Yeah.
We could do like F45 0
that would stay there for months.
X1. Yeah. 1-0.
Legit.
Or just hire someone to just put something up there who wouldn't even know.
That is a strategy in itself, guerrilla marketing. So I have a 5 meter tall inflatable mushroom which is sat in a box in my office around there.
Yeah.
Which is one of the first of many things I'm trying to do offline, because I look at brands that I look up to, and they don't rely 100% on fucking paid ads, which has pretty much been my entire life up to this point. So like we're doing some weird shit with that, which might be a flop, but it's just no one else is doing that. So you could apply similar thinking to the gym, although I suppose maybe you want to piss off less people than I do. But that F45 sign would be the prime example of that sort of thing. Like just high risk, potentially high return. Like what's the worst that can happen?
I don't know. Yeah. What? Just paste over it, put something else up on there. I mean, it's not like they know.
Then you take a picture of it and you get a PR firm to fucking push it in certain publications, and before you know it, it's a big story.
Yeah. I started talking to a guy in PR about getting Slevin out there a little bit more. And it's like when you Google CrossFit gyms in London, there's like the 10 best CrossFit gyms in London. Or
even, I just thought of a great one actually. Sorry, this is genius on the spot. You should hire a lookalike of Justin Bieber to get really sweaty.
Yeah.
Like plan it. So get paparazzi that aren't paparazzi, they're just your fucking mates posing as them. Get a journalist who's already briefed. So we think Bieber is in town and he's with security, and do like a lookalike prank. But no one knows it's a prank. You fucking push the picture around. Bieber goes to Slevin. That's the sort of shit that will.
It'd be a coincidence now if Bieber actually went to Slevin next week, right?
Drake could go to Slevin.
We actually have a big celebrity who goes to Slevin's, Ollie Murs.
Yeah, I saw him actually.
Yeah, Ollie Murs comes.
He lives in
ever
the
session.
Corniche, right? Oh, yeah. Don't want to say where he lives.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I've met him a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah, he comes down a lot. He loves it.
Has he ever posted?
Yeah, he's posted at Slevin. He's posted his first ever muscle ups.
No way.
Yeah, first ever.
How often is he there?
He hasn't been he's only come since we've moved to the new site once, but there was a time last year he was coming almost every day for a month or so, but he's always on tours and coming in and out, but he's just a super lovely guy, and obviously he promotes it, he tells all his mates about it and stuff like that. But it's interesting, it's like he'll post about Slevin, he's got 3 million followers, but we'll gain 2 followers from it.
Typical influencers. Yeah.
But it's interesting that they think, oh well, surely we get some sort of traction or maybe a membership from it, but like nothing really. It's just cool.
It's probably harder when it's a physical location in that sense. Whereas if it was a brand online, anyone's relevant to it.
Which is why we're targeting micro influencers. So I've got Sophie T just kind of working on just inviting micro influencers down and doing a week training with us and posting about it, and because they're going to influence the 100 members at the F45 down the road, or a couple tube stops away, be like, oh, that's really cool that you're learning that stuff there, I might go try that out. So that's kind of like a strategy that we're trying to go for. And it's quite hard to gauge how these people are coming through. I obviously ask everybody that comes through the door how they've heard about us, but it's always a mix of things.
Yeah,
I literally lived in the building right outside your facility for 2 years and had no idea that you guys were there.
It's nuts, isn't it? It's the difference that like frontage makes the location.
For sure.
I mean, now you walk by and you can see the sign outside, you can see everything going on inside, and people see us now from the back where we've got all the light blue, so we want to put up a couple of signs up in the back as well and get that a bit more visible. But I think probably the most successful gym in London, which is Shapesmiths, is obviously they run a great gym, but just also they're right outside the busiest train station I think in Europe.
What about Marchon?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So Marchon's a brand that we're talking about brands, and it's like I look up to as well. And
is it Ollie Marchon or something?
Yeah,
is that a second name? Or is that just
maybe?
So they started in Harpenden or something.
Yeah. East.
So that's like Hertfordshire or some shit, is it?
Yeah.
They got one in East London as well.
He's built an incredible brand out of that.
Nick is sending tonight.
So he's built an incredible brand. I've never met the guy, but I follow his podcast. I follow him online. I've looked at his training programs, and he's now scaling his business massively. He's in supplements. Obviously, he started a lot with the online program as well. Mm-hmm. So really easy way to market that. Scale that.
Thank you.
And they've just opened, I think, in the last year, another facility in Stratford.
Yeah.
And I think they've got Grand Designs now to have their own kind of brand all throughout the UK. But but yeah, they're also doing fitness events. So they've just come out with a competition called, I don't even know how to say it, ATHX or something like that, ATHX. But yeah, obviously he's killing it. But yeah, I look up to what they're doing over there and seeing how the brand that they've created, but in a way, it's, from my perspective, it's quite different, because I think the way he started his brand was him.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the most beautiful men you've ever seen.
Do you ever think
Totally
about
ripped.
yourself as a personal brand / having a personal brand? Because
That is
I
true.
definitely think fitness is the perfect space that lends itself naturally to having a founder-led or ambassador-led brand, especially when you live and breathe it like you quite literally do.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not I'm not Ollie Marchand, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not this ex-rugby international that's got, just unbelievably in shape, and I mean, the way that I think that he built his brand was just literally through his Instagram. So, and I think for a lot of fitness influencers, and my girlfriend, she works for another influencer called Chrissy Chella.
I know.
Yeah, so again, stunning, does all her exercises, and just everyone wants her butt, and the glutes. And
I was reading about her brand, actually. Did like 20 mil rev or some shit.
What?
I mean, yeah.
She's like a Grace Beverly-esque.
Yeah, she's really
Similar sort of
impressive, and I think, like, obviously that's what gets them the recognition at the start, but then there's obviously just an incredible amount of work ethic and like just knowledge, or I don't know, whatever it is that they've got to get to where they are, because there's a lot of beautiful people on Instagram that don't make anything of themselves.
Oh,
so
for sure. There's a lot of broke.
yeah, so
99% of them.
99%. So for them to even break through that sort of and create the things that they've done is incredible. So it's something I've talked to Tim a lot about, is like, well, how do we, I think what we have to do at Slevin is do it through the brand itself, and do it through the, like, what we've built, and like for people to recognize like that as a gym, whereas Marchand is like, you say Marchand, you just think of Ollie Marchand, which is his brand, or Evolve You, which is like Chrissy Chella. So, I think there's different ways of going about it. Whether I'm going to be the face of it, I'm not that interested in it. I'd love it just to be successful, and I'm more than happy for not other people to be the
It
face of the
arguably makes
brand.
it more exitable if you're not
definitely,
if you're not the full face of it.
Yeah.
Like, quite literally having your name, like it sounds like this Marchand guy. That's potentially a downside.
Yeah, and I know his brother also does a lot of stuff as well, so I don't want to, if they ever watch this or whatever, but like,
Slevin versus Marchand exposed.
Yeah, but this is just from an outsider's perspective on what's going on over there.
What about competition between gyms?
Yeah,
Is that something that we've done or
yeah,
thought about?
definitely. So,
Is there any you want to call out right now?
what do you mean?
To like call them out for a competition?
What, to like invite them to a competition?
Invite them to a competition.
No, I mean,
Okay.
I sent out to all the affiliate owners in London a little pack, like an affiliate pack, to come down to the 7X Games. We want to make it the premier kind of London box competition. So all the boxes in London come down and throw down at Slevin, which we've designed as a competition space as well. The rigs down the middle, and all the way it's set out is perfectly set up for a competition, more so than I think any other box in London. And I've got quite a lot of traction with a few gyms. So CrossFit London's sending about 12 athletes down. We've got the Yard in Peckham coming down. We've got Tribe Hammersmith. I'd love to see more Southwest London gyms as well, which is like District and Shapesmiths and Gymnasium. But we'd love to see them all come down and have like a throwdown. But there used to be, back in the day, this thing called box battles, where you would literally go to another box and like throw down against another box, and it was pretty cool. So it's definitely something we could also pick up again, and a couple of the members wanted to rekindle that, and then COVID hit. So, but
How expensive is gym equipment?
What do you mean?
Was it like, I'm interested in that shit. Like it's got. Are we talking like multi six figures?
Like, I'm just looking
to
at
fit
like,
out a gym.
like plates that you guys have. I'm just thinking they're not cheap, and then times that by how many plates. Is
that the biggest cost in obviously in setting up the gym?
I don't know, the biggest cost on that whole build. I mean, the electrics were so much money. Just the building out the
lights are sick. The little boxes.
The lights are sick. It just
was that a full custom build, or did you go into a facility?
Full custom build. So my mate Tom, who's Tom Harrison from Habitation Limited in architecture. He's an architect. He's a mate of mine. I approached him and I said, look, I want to do this, and he's helped us out with this, and it's a full custom design of the space, and he's just done an incredible job really of like how it looks and everything. So I think building everything custom is where it costs money, because it's not just just buy a black table and plonk it here. It's that little like the little chill out area. Well, all those like cubby holes are custom built, and the seating and everything, and so you need a carpenter or a joiner to come in and do everything by hand and all the rest of it. And like all those toilets are custom built. They were, we had to put plumbing in for all that sort of stuff. It was a massive job. I mean, you'll know from luxury developments like how expensive custom jobs could be. So yeah, that was the most expensive aspect of it. And then working in a space that is super humid, there's leaks all over this place, it's not straight, it's a Victorian archway, so you can imagine things are just all over the shop. So lots of difficulties with that, and then dealing with a project manager that kind of dropped the ball, which kind of made it
project managers
kind of made it difficult. But yeah, I mean, back to the gym equipment. Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, what do you think things cost? Like, I don't know, like a dumbbell.
I know what rowers cost.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, but more like barbells, weights.
It's interesting.
Rigs.
I guess the kit out of a CrossFit gym will be less than a commercial facility, because all the standard kind of gym equipment you'd expect in a commercial facility can be like £2,000-3,000 for a chest plate, a chest kind of machine, something like that. But I mean, we had to kit out 3 gyms basically, because we needed to make sure that we could run classes independently in all 3 spaces, or we run competitions that we'd have enough plates to do all that sort of thing, or the rigs and all that sort of thing. Where, I talked to coaches at other gyms and they're like, oh, we've got 8 wall ball spots, and I'm like, what, for a whole class? Like, yeah. I'm like, oh, we've got 20 on one rig, so we can run like classes of whatever. And that's back to kind of like the idea of we want to run the best gym, is like we've got the equipment for you to have a really nice workout, because the workout that you do at 7, you're doing it without having to share equipment or kind of wait for someone to move out of the way, whereas at another rival gym you probably have to wait to get up to the wall ball spot, and your workout's just not going to be that kind of higher level.
I'm never going to take those wall balls for granted again.
No.
Yeah.
And they're all like, they're all branded and everything, the targets and everything. It's cool.
How much do you reckon it costs to fit out the new facility?
What, including the build?
Yeah, all in.
I mean, I know nothing about building. It's what, from a blank fucking tunnel?
Yeah.
Including equipment?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 200k, 250.
That's what I was going to say.
Really? Including equipment?
I mean, that's my guess, yeah.
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 More.
No,
So there's more?
Yeah, a lot more.
Wow.
A lot more.
Double?
Yeah, more than double.
Fucking
You're
hell.
kidding
That's
me.
a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that expensive. I mean, I know nothing about building.
Yeah.
Was it? What's the ratio of equipment to build?
Yeah, about the build was about 3-1 on equipment.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. And what was the motivation for just capacity at the previous facility?
Capacity, I think, like, I don't know. I've just had this idea. I just want to be like, I've been at shit gyms. I'm like, I don't want to be at a shit gym. I don't want to have a shit gym. I want to have the best gym. I want to have a really, like, I don't want people to come to Slevin and be like, oh, it's great there despite the shit facilities or despite the shitty coaches or the owners or anything like that, which I feel like happens quite a few of the other gyms, and people stick to them. And I'm like, why can't we just make a really good gym where it's really nice to be in and the people are great and the coaching is great and everything's like working well? And that was my basic first idea of like what I wanted Slevin to be. So I was like, well, we've got to make it premium. I mean, people are spending £220 a month. We've got to have the best equipment. We can't, if they want to come in and wear Noble, which is, £80 for a t-shirt, or 150 quid for a pair of shoes, or Lululemon, why are they going to work out in a shit facility? They're going to want to work out in a premium facility, or they're going to go to Barry's, or they're going to go to One Rebel or this other brand. So like in a way, CrossFit's had to pick up its game to stay in line with all that sort of thing.
For sure.
And I mean, our fit out is nothing compared to Barry's or one of these other kind of brands. I mean, they must be spending 2, 3, 4 million on it. I mean, there's lights, there's music.
Gymbox, definitely, yeah. Third space, all that sort.
Yeah, third space opening. So
there's one opening in Power Station.
Yeah, but I guess that's investors. I mean, it's just me and Tim.
How much over budget did it go as like a percentage?
I was 200k over budget.
It's typical, like
Yeah.
builds. Yeah, it's a shame.
That was going to be my cushion in case everything went to shit. So
everyone sign up to Slevin. We're putting a link in the bio.
Yeah.
Affiliate link in the bio.
Yeah.
Use Matt Kelly 10 and check it
I
out.
mean, there's certain things like there's a 100k deposit that's just sitting there, just with a, which we had agreed on a 50%, like 50k deposit, which right now 50k
with who? With the lease?
With the landlord,
with the landlord, yeah.
Which is Neville Crow, right?
Yeah. Well, it's this company called Archco, which.
What is that? Just for damages, like.
Just like when you put a deposit down on this.
Wasn't 100k.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Or your dad put.
Yeah, but I mean, for a small business like us, that is just a. It's just a massive amount of money that which obviously we'll get back someday, but it's just like, well,
sits on the balance sheet, unable to do anything with it. Yeah,
nothing to do with it. It's just may as well burn it up. But there's just things like that. We've had battles with like the rates, the business rates as well, like them charging us for 8 months or 6 months of the build that we're not there. So extra costs with that, and I don't know, so many other things that we're kind of dealing with as well. Like,
have you raised any money up to this point? Just profits and self-funded.
Yeah,
and Tim as well, right?
Tim,
yeah,
me and Tim, yeah, put it all in. But yeah, this is my life now. So it's like I've got to make it work. I think
that's the best way to be as a founder. I think.
Yeah.
How else is it going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm doing a good job, but I know I could do a better job if I had help or advice and stuff like that. But I think you guys might know this as well, is like, where do you find the time to stop? And
to stop and review things. And
be like, okay, I'm going to spend a week teaching you how to do this now, because obviously in the long run, it'll benefit everybody, but I don't have the time right now. So we'll just keep putting it off or whatever. But that's the kind of the challenge at the moment. But that, and also, I guess having the money and the comfort to be like, okay, we're just going to be like, I'm going to hire this person. I'm going to be like, if I had 3 extra hands to do whatever, then that would make a big difference, for example. But we don't have it right now.
Sick. Did you have any other areas you wanted to go into? Because I guess there's so many rabbit holes. We've done 2 hours nearly.
I'll let you
2
take
hours.
It. Yeah.
Flies
2
by.
hours.
Nearly.
Fucking hell.
1 hour 45. I usually wrap these up with a few similar questions. I mean, we kind of covered one, which is where do you... Well, I guess we can expand on it. Where do you see Slevin going? You said in 5 years an exit, but is that you not involved, or is that you just being this rich bloke that's shredded, training in the gym, and you got a management team and 25 facilities and
3 girlfriends,
10,000 members and 15 girlfriends?
Yeah. I think 2 ways. It would be either sort of like a licensing kind of model sort of thing, and be like, okay, this is our model. I'm going to sell this to Bannatyne or Virgin or whatever, and so you guys want to go into the CrossFit space, but you don't want it to be rough and ready like some of the other CrossFit gyms. You want so something like that. Here's a model, that do it. Is one way, or kind of the way that I see it is maybe going down all these different revenue avenues that I mentioned, whether it's the coaching education, the online programming, retail, holiday, any of these sort of things, and be like, well, actually, we're going to make a crap ton. I mean, Marchon have done a great job with, they run a coaching education business called PFCA, and they must be making tons of money off that. And
what does it cost if you want to go through that? If you're a coach and want to learn, or you want to become a coach, what does it cost you to
sell information? He knows.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the best margin.
I mean, the CrossFit level 1 is 1K, and I mean that's kind of where we want to start to sell our education, which would be kind of 6 weeks practical and that sort of thing, which would be a lot more involved than say a lot of the other courses. But you know, we've got a facility now, we could do it on Saturday afternoons and come get people in regularly, up to 10, 15, 20 people, and suddenly you've got this huge other revenue stream. But again, it's kind of like about building the brand first and being like, oh, what's the recognition? Why does somebody want to come to Sloven to learn how to coach, for example? And it's kind of, I guess everything is helping each other. Every little bit is helping the other bits to kind of get that brand recognition up. So it's kind of like working on all the different bits and seeing like, well, what's going to stick? And I mean, ultimately it would be great if it was something that was really easy, which would be like just get a shit ton of members in and like get them moving. But at the end of the day, that's not necessarily going to keep people in, because at the end of the day, what's going to keep people in is like what we're doing with Tyler, which would be how are we going to help Tyler get better, right?
Tell you what I wanted to ask you about actually was corporate training classes. So I was thinking this from for a community perspective, if there's a way I could pay for an hour class and then bring
that's a great idea.
15 of my customers.
Yeah, we offer that.
Do you?
Yeah.
But the fact that we don't know that is the problem.
Yeah.
I'd 100% do that.
Yeah. 100%.
Next month.
Yeah, let's do it.
And I think you should like do it with your guys as well. Just bring like 15.
There should be a new policy in my company going forward. If you don't train, you get fired immediately.
Yeah.
Because people that train, I think, are more effective at work.
Yeah.
All of my team train where Aura rings, track their sleep. Like it's a cult within our company.
Do you track their sleep?
No, I don't track their sleep.
That'd be weird.
But like on the team calls,
are you on the Whoop thing as well?
I tried Whoop.
I nearly got Aura.
Yeah.
Whoop, have you said it?
I didn't. I prefer the Aura ring. But like on the team calls in the morning, we were like sharing our sleep scores and
you can see who's been fucking on a bender the night before.
Exactly. There's no hiding from me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so corporate events, I'll do one of those soon.
Yeah. So another way I'm trying to market the gym is getting on a corporate thing called Gym Flex, where basically it's like salary sacrifice. So you're an employee at JP Morgan, your gym membership goes out like gross salary. So then basically you don't even know, and you're signed up to Sloven.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
You know, the perfect acquisition in 5 years would be someone buys it and you use, I don't know, JP Morgan advise on the fucking sale or some shit.
Yeah.
And some cunt that used to be your boss facilitates the transaction in some way or form. That'd be legendary.
That'd be cool.
Right, final question. And you've got 20 years to think about it, I guess. I always say to people, it's become a cliche, 3 bits of advice to your 18-year-old self, knowing what you know now, broadly speaking. In fact, you might be one of the oldest guests we've had.
Really?
Not that you're that old, just that my guests have been unusually young, because they've been all my mates, to be honest.
How old are you?
38.
400. So you've got 20 years to reflect on that
20
question.
years. Things take a lot longer than you think.
Yeah, that's true.
First thing. A lot longer. You don't know everything. I think we all think we know everything, but literally know nothing. Second one. Third one, I think probably it would be enjoy the moment a lot more. I think I'm always kind of looking in the future too much and not enjoying the present enough, and I have to be like, okay, like stop looking forward, just kind of like enjoy what's going on at the present as well. So I think you guys will probably know that as well, as like you're always like thinking, oh, what's going to happen there? Okay, just enjoy kind of like what's going on today. And like it, like as a little anecdote, was just like today I really enjoyed just being outside with the crew and just training and everything, and it was just a nice moment, and be like, okay, this is what we're kind of living for as well, not just the numbers or the revenue or the members or whatever.
Very true.
Deep.
Very powerful.
Love it.
And you'll enjoy that party that you have to come to after this as well. And hopefully enjoyed the pod. Your first podcast ever, I think you are a very good storyteller. So you were warning me that you wouldn't be good
Really?
behind a camera.
I'm
But
all right. I think I mumble a lot. I don't know what it's going to sound like, but
No,
I've still got man flu, so
yeah.
No, I think it was wicked. And I'd finish on saying, I think you have built something incredible. I think, you know, you've got great team, great community. Like you say, you've had people getting married off the back of what you've built. I think, yeah, it's easy as an entrepreneur to get caught up thinking about the chaos that's happening on a day to day and thinking about the future. But for sure, 100% should be proud of what you've built and what you've created. It's definitely probably not been an easy feat, but yeah, fair play.
Thanks. No, I think it's been great on the podcast, and
legendary.
I just want to say as well, like it's not just me. It's obviously Tim, and Tim's been out.
Of course.
And,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure, as always, on that bombshell. Subscribe to the pod. Go check out Slevin if you live anywhere near, or if you don't. Everyone that follows me.
Vauxhall London.
Well, let's announce a midnight podcast, Slevin workout.
As part of my mastermind upcoming,
Yeah.
which he keeps telling me to do. Yeah, so that's where I train. People always ask me, what are you doing post running? I'm doing fucking Slevin.
So train with Matt Kelly.
Yeah.
Train with Matt Kelly.
$5,000 an hour. We'll get 100 people in.
Do a revenue share.
Yeah. Do a rev share. So yeah, subscribe to the pod, check out Slevin. As always, cheers for watching. Peace. Boom.